Detective Reggie Witherbottom is at it again, in The Echo Call by Jer Beale here on Abby Normal Short Stories. Rain lashes drummed a relentless, rhythmic beat against the window pane, water running down the glass blurring the world outside of Detective Reggie Witherbottom's study. Retired and restless, Reggie sat surrounded by the ghosts of unsolved cases, finding himself looking at these old files more often now, more to stave off boredom than anything else. The silence of the house was a physical weight, a vacuum that his thoughts struggled to fill. He watched the dust motes dance in the light of a single desk lamp, feeling the itch of a mystery that no longer existed. On the corner of the desk sat his old rotary phone, a heavy black relic of a bygone era. For decades, it had been his lifeline to the city's darkness, vibrating with the news of heists and heartbreaks. Now, it was merely a paperweight, no longer connected to the world. On a whim, driven by nostalgia and a sudden, inexplicable urge to test the universe, Reggie reached out and pulled the device toward him. He didn't think of a specific person. He didn't recall a number from a file or even from memory. His finger simply found the holes in the rotary dial and spun them, listening to the light clicking as it spun around. 7 digits, plucked from the ether. The whir of the dial returning to its starting position was the only sound in the room, a mechanical sigh that felt almost hypnotic in the stillness. Just as the dial finished its final rotation, a shrill, piercing ring cut through the air. Reggie jumped, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. But the sound wasn't coming from the earpiece in his hand, it was coming from the desk. His modern smartphone, lying just inches away from the rotary base, was vibrating violently, its screen illuminating the dark room with a cold blue glare. The display on the smartphone showed no name, only a string of digits. His old home landline number, a number that no longer exists. Reggie felt a chill crawl up his spine, a cold finger tracing the length of his vertebrae. He looked at the receiver in his hand, then at the vibrating phone on the desk. He was calling himself, yet the old phone isn't even connected to the wall, it is nothing more than an antique. With trembling fingers, Reggie swiped the screen to answer. He pressed the smartphone to his right ear while keeping the rotary receiver pressed to his left. He expected a howl of feedback, a screech of electronic interference. Instead, there was only the sound of breathing, heavy, ragged, and perfectly synchronized with his own. "Hello?" Reggie whispered into the rotary mouthpiece. The word traveled through the receiver, emerging a split second later in his other ear. But as he listened, the voice on the smartphone began to change. It grew deeper, younger, more energetic, and carried an accent Reggie hadn't used in 30 years, the rough, street-hardened tone of his youth. "Don't hang up, Reggie," the voice on the smartphone said. It wasn't an echo anymore. It was a separate entity, a version of himself that sounded weary and desperate. Reggie lowered the receiver of the old rotary phone from his ear and focused on the modern mobile phone. "You're looking at the folders, aren't you? The one labeled Silas. You never closed it because you were looking for a man. You should have been looking for a moment." Reggie found the folder. Inside was a single blurry photograph of a crime scene from 1994, a room exactly like this one. At the time, no one could recall where this photo came from. It just was. In the background of the photo, partially obscured by a curtain, stood a figure holding a phone. As Reggie looked closer, the figure in the photo moved. It turned its head. It was him. Not the Reggie of 1994, but the Reggie of now, sitting in his chair, holding 2 phones. A floorboard creaked behind him. The voice on the phone whispered, "I've been lost for so long. I'm finally home, Reggie." He turned, and there stood Silas, not a criminal, not even a real man, but a shadow woven from charcoal lines, wisps of darkness, and lost time. A realization hit Reggie at that moment. He always seen himself as the detective hunting for the truth, hunting the criminals. Now, the hunter has finally realized he was the prey in this case, caught in a loop of his own making. Was this Silas a separate person? Or is he Reggie himself? Or maybe just a part of Reggie? Silas reached out, his hand identical to Reggie's, and took the rotary phone. As their fingers brushed, Reggie felt himself fading, pulled towards the photo. Reggie disappeared completely the next moment, while the visitor became solid, stepping into the light to take over the life that Reggie was living right now. In the next instant, the photo too evaporated in a flash of light. What was left? A moment caught in time, a quiet retirement, a man living a new life? Only Reggie knows the answer. Time to like and subscribe now.